Goggles and Brent Evans.
That is me.
Yes, I got it right after day 12 of Origins Game Fair. I come down early because I'm religious, but it's
welcome from Origins.
I am the last. I am the last of the day. It is definitely Sunday.
Dude, it's only 11:15.
I know.
You've got a lot more day to go.
I do, and actually I have a lot more work to do. Anyway, but we're going to talk about all things Battletech. Oh, some of you might not know, this is the new guy.
Yes.
He does all things Battletech,
I
except
do.
the fiction. That's still...
Well, I have people for that.
You guys probably don't know who John is. Who knows the editor?
Editors are important.
Well, yeah, but I mean, some editors stand out more.
That's true. And he stands out a lot in this industry. Guy's got skills.
Well, he does,
Great
but like the
connections.
people who read the books don't necessarily know that.
That's true.
He's like
He's like the puppet master behind the scenes.
puppet master, but they're like unsung heroes.
They are.
They don't get songs.
Kind of like a general.
Like game designers, like Brent and Jason Hardy, they probably have whole odes written about them.
You would think. You would think.
I'm sure somebody's
It's
done that
possible
for
I have something big and diabolical planned for Gen Con. We will have to see.
And he has a very good rule of game design. Well, we're not going to share it.
It's a secret.
So where do you want to start? Battle box, beginner box?
We got a bunch of stuff coming up for Battletech. There's a huge amount of things coming down the line, and you're going to start to see for all those fans who are looking forward to Gen Con and think, gosh, I hope it's going to be as great as it's been in the past, or even better. We are going to see bigger and better things coming out for Battletech than you've ever seen for Battletech. There is a whole lot of awesome stuff, starting with 2 box sets that should be at Gen Con. We will start with the new beginner box, $20 product. This is perfect for a kid, straight off a demo table. That was kind of fun. Where do I start? Well, you start with 2 mechs, a couple of brand new battlefields, brand new maps. First maps we've had in Battletech in a ridiculously long period of time, and now I'm bringing you a whole bunch of them so that you guys can have battles across the inner sphere in a whole bunch of new, much better looking ways. We're actually trying a variety of other things. We're adding in some cardboard cutouts so the new player can try out what's it like to play with 1 unit, what's it like to play with multiple units, what's it like to play with multiple units against each other. Just get the feel. And truth is, the fans are going to love this, gobble it up, but quickly outgrow it. So they're going to graduate to the game of armored combat.
Are there any tanks in here?
There are no tanks.
Okay.
No tanks.
Okay. Go to armored combat.
Graduate to the full game of armored combat. Now this game system, these are totally compatible with both Alpha Strike and the core rules, so it doesn't matter what flavor of Battletech you want to go to, these will absolutely meet your desired need. This one's got 8 mechs in it, 2 additional double-sided maps, so you got 4 more battlefields in here that are not duplicates of the 1 in the beginner set. You actually will have, between the 2 of them, you'll have 6 new battlefields to play on. They will be going alongside an upcoming map set product, which I intend to release alongside these 2 boxes. The map sets will have a series of 12 maps to go along with these. The first one's going to be grassland, so it's going to be right alongside the grassland maps in either or both of the box sets. And they're going to be scaled from simple maps all the way to advanced elite tactical maps, so the players can mix and match however they want to go. They're perfectly balanced for both era and tech level, so those players that love the 30-25 gameplay will be just as happy as the players that love to play the 30-140s. So both ends of the spectrum. So in the game of armored combat, we've got 8 more minis. You've got
and those are
4 more battlefiels. These are the new plastics with a new design, new sculpts, new everything.
Beginner box. Are these prototypes or these are the actual?
The actuals haven't come yet, but they'll look exactly like this.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's one of the key differences.
The cardboard standees. That way you can try out a variety of different sizes and things. And once again, this is to help people graduate from beginner all the way into the standard gameplay as the rest of us that have been playing for so much time. One of the other things we're adding to these is to give the players the feel of the hero has always been the mech warrior.
Yes.
The movie Top Gun wasn't about the jets. It was about the pilots. The pilots were the hero. And in Mech Warrior, we know the pilots of these mechs are the 1%, the elite of the elite. These are the ones standing on the line, holding the ground, making the changes and the difference that change this face of the inner sphere. So we've added mech warrior cards, so you get the flavor of what's it like to play this character in this mech. A little bit of mix and match flavor there for you.
So how did their pilot cards change like a standard mech that some rookie would be flying?
Well, they're not going to swap out autocannons for PPCs on the pilot card, but what they're going to do is help the player know how to play that character. What do I want this pilot in this mech or that mech? And it adds that element to those of us that have played for a long time that know the tactical advantages and benefits to, say, movement over firepower, or jump over armor, or heavy firepower as the anvil and use the light ones to be the hammer to lead them in. There's all those tactical skill things that allow the mech warrior cards to reinforce and add a whole new level of enjoyment for the gameplay experience.
Okay.
Ta-da!
So, at Gen Con, is like the Catalyst booth going to be inside an Atlas like?
You know, I have a whole lot of very cool things. There's a lot of awesomeness coming for Gen Con. And I will admit, I kind of staged a hostile takeover of the Catalyst booth. So if those of you come, you'll see a whole lot more Battletech covering of most of the space that used to be occupied by the Catalyst booth. It's possible I'm trying to just push Shadowrun right off the side.
That's going to be an interesting feat, because...
It will be an interesting feat, because if you remember, a couple years ago, we had the year of Shadowrun. We had the Shadowrun experience room. Last year was Dragonfire. It is almost as if this is the year for Battletech.
Almost.
Almost as if.
So it's like...
There's only one way it can get better.
It's like foretelling. Next year's the year of Battletech, then.
This is the year of Battletech.
You said almost.
This is the year of Battletech.
He changes things. Anyway, Beginner's Box has really cool cards, except I'm only showing you the cool pictures and the fluff.
Show them the crunch. There we go.
There we go. There's some crunch. What did I show them?
This is a streamlined record sheet item to get the new players a chance to feel it, get a feel for the way the record sheet works, how damage is distributed, where it applies. But one of the nice things about it is that we got the coding on them, so people can mark it on the sheet, wipe it off at the end, reuse that game. You actually have the mechs are colored as a color scheme for a specific unit within the universe. So you have the nuance of which houses, which factions, which ones do I want to play, how do I want to play them. All that stuff is really great, and it's a nice evolution over the standard black and white record sheet, just to help a new player wrap their head around what this looks like in universe.
Yep. I would probably have played a lot more if I had dry erase sheets. Also, you get some little changes to the maps.
Yeah, for those of you that remember the Hex Pack products, we had those punch-outs that were great to just customize some of the terrain elements in your battlefields. Since we're doing punch-outs for for additional mech units to try out, we're also adding punch-outs for the terrain elements that are double-sided. You can try it out and just augment those brand new maps that you're getting with additional elements to add and take away.
Fluff.
Now, the fluff is cool. I'm totally geeking out about this because I don't know about the rest of you, but I started out by diving into a Grey Death Legion novel and falling in love with the Battletech universe. Bill Keith is back writing for Battletech. And one of the ideas that I pitched to John Helfers, that unsung hero we talked about earlier, was the idea of, you know what, we all were introduced to Battletech through the death of Carlisle's Commandos, which spawned the rise of the Grey Death Legion. But we never knew the history of the Carlisle's Commandos, and I've always wanted to know. So I pitched it to John and Randall Bills, and they were both like, that's actually a really cool idea. Let's flesh out the previous generation. What were the heroes and villains that laid down the foundation of the Battletech universe that we all know and love? So Bill Keith is writing fiction about Carlisle's Commandos.
Slight confession, that's not how I got involved. I saw the original brown box.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, that looks cool. I'm going to buy it.
You were a hard sell, huh?
Yeah, well, it was I was still in high school, and Robotech was like a big thing, and I'm like, that looks a lot like something.
Yeah, you had Robotech, you had Transformers, and then you got these guys.
Actually,
that's so cool.
I didn't watch Transformers at all. I watched Robotech because I liked the idea of the fighters flying, and I saw that big thing firing a gun, and I'm like, it's a game. I'm like, very similar. I'll play it. And we played a lot of Battletech in high school. A lot. Like, we actually printed out our own hex map, we had a 12 by 8 foot table covered that we made.
Nice.
Our own world. It was our own world. We're not very good at playing in a sandbox.
Sandbox. Who needs a sandbox?
Who needs a sandbox? Make your own.
You know, there's this great story. Randall Bills was just telling us the other day. He, right around the time he was graduating from high school, he had the summer, right after high school, and so he and his buddies took all of the furniture out of their den in his buddy's house and laid down, covered the whole thing with maps. And they spent the summer playing this ridiculous, hundreds of units on hundreds of units. And at one key point, for those of you that know Randall Bills, you'll know he has a real soft spot in his heart for the Thunderbolt, which is one of the new mechs in this unit. And he will never forget. He's like, he had this one Thunderbolt that was stuck in the wash of a Crossfire. It was like 12 on 1, and this thing just lasted round after round after round. And he's like, it wouldn't go down. And that's one of those nuances with Battletech, where you have the aesthetic of these are walking tanks, and the pilots at the controls are heroes that are holding the line. And yeah, that was this great moment where the gameplay completely reinforced the aesthetic.
I think that was part of it. That was definitely part of it.
Yeah.
When the Mech Warrior, it was called Mech Warrior. When the RPG came out, we played the crap out of that.
Oh yeah.
But the only thing we ever did was get into hand-to-hand combat.
Hand-to-hand combat happens, yeah.
Hand-to-hand combat in the game was so brutal. I cannot tell you how many times my spleen was ruptured.
Oh, you know what? It's still brutal to this day.
I think that's where I learned to min-max. How can I do this so that I almost always hit the spleen?
You know, one of the fun parts about that, though, is that it inspired you to want to min-max it, to learn the rules on how to do it. You know what? I really enjoyed this part of the gameplay. And you think about all the things you had to give up to make it so that you could pull that off. So there's always that check and balance within gameplay where the mechanics can reinforce and allow the players to make the decisions that they want. And it all comes down to the choice.
And one of those decisions was that Mech Warrior, we didn't pilot mechs.
Nice.
Nice. We just didn't. It's like, I took all this time and I made this character. Why would I put him in that thing to die?
You know what? There's a whole lot to this universe that goes far beyond this tactical gameplay element. For those of you that don't know, Mech Warrior, there's always been an RPG element to the Battletech universe. And we've actually, behind the scenes, been hard at work creating a new Mech Warrior RPG experience. It's going to be a fast play experience, and one of the cores that we laid down was this is not a sit down for 2 hours and create your character before you even shoot something. This is a quick gameplay experience where you are immersed into the universe, but it also adds the element of it needs to be there needs to be a quick way where any player of the tactical game to say, you know what, if I want to add an RPG element to it, how can I use that to reinforce this without a whole new rule system getting in the way? And it does a wonderful job. I do not have it at the show. I'm not sure if it'll be able to make Gen Con. It'll be close. But ultimately, yes, we do have a new Mech Warrior branded RPG experience coming. That's kind of an RPG light to reinforce what's going on with Battletech. And you do not have to be a Mech Warrior. You can be an infantry. You can be a medic. You can be a tech. You can be an aerospace pilot or a ship pilot.
Comstar secret agent.
Or a Royal or a Comstar secret agent or any other numbers of things, because there's a wonderful universe full of characters based in this universe.
I should have kept all of that stuff.
You should have. You didn't? Okay, we can wrap this up so you can just put all your thoughts down.
That
so
disappeared long ago, and
you're gonna have to recreate.
When I found out that Comstar was the evil group that I created, well, not necessarily evil.
They're not evil. They're good and evil, like all of us.
Yeah, but when I found out they had all that stuff for technology and military, I wrote them up to be like the KGB when I was in high school.
Well, in hindsight, now that the story's completely unrolled, there's certain elements that absolutely were like that.
Yes, there are. And I was like, man, nobody believed me.
I was right. I am vindicated.
Well, I'm self-vindicated. So, okay, so the RPG, I think it's really great that you're going to kind of bridge the gap.
Absolutely.
That is brilliant.
Absolutely.
You're going to bridge that into Alpha Strike too?
Well, Alpha Strike,
it's a little
you know what? It's not that separate. So yeah, the elements that come out will reinforce both systems. For those of you that entered the Battletech universe through the video games, a lot of us saw that there's two types of players. Really, it comes down to some guys just absolutely love being in the cockpit, looking through the cockpit glass, like seeing your hands on the controls, and you are the one guy, and you're paying attention to all the nuance of your mech. This is you. And then we have Mech Commander, where you've got a God's eye view. You're looking down and you're in control. This is your company. I am maneuvering. I am managing. I have resources. I have support. You have all those elements. So really, it comes down to Alpha Strike is like Mech Commander.
Yep.
And the core rule set is you're in the cockpit. You're pulling the trigger.
Yeah, when's the board game coming out?
The board game.
The right way, this would be a great board game.
Let's discuss.
I mean, it's already. I mean, to me, it's still a miniatures game. I suppose maybe there's an argument that can be made.
There was a board game. Unfortunately, Comstar agents came and took it.
I believe that.
Because they're like the KGB.
But yeah, I mean, I guess you can make an argument that BattleTech is kind of a board game. I've never considered it that.
It's far more of a tactical game for me, but that's because that's the flavor that I like of it. But everyone that I know that, I mean, it's not the battle mechs that make us really fall in love with BattleTech. They're cool, and they catch our attention, but it's the universe. The universe is what makes it come down.
There's room. I mean, look at Shadowrun. It's got all kinds of little card games and stuff, which, who had that? No, that was a Wizards of the Coast product. The BattleTech card game was wonderful.
Back in the day, yep.
It just couldn't compete with Magic.
Well, speaking of Shadowrun, we've got Sprawl Lost. For those of you, there's the Kickstarter still going. We're in the final days. You can jump in on that. And honestly, it is a really cool game. It is an amazing map. If any of you really want to geek out and stare at the map for a while, you will realize that the artist that I hired to do that is phenomenal. He actually drew every single building in the Seattle Sprawl. I'm not kidding. It was, and he started drawing floors, like multiple floor buildings. You can see in the graphic, he built them. That master file, the image is so large, you could print bed sheets out of this thing. It is enormous.
Those would be cool bed sheets.
I know, you get to sleep in the world of BattleTech. I think it's a specialty product for the conventions. I'm just putting that out there. But anyway, yeah, so Sprawl Ops is a fantastic game. A lot of good fun. Once again, a new way to enjoy your favorite flavor. Shadowrun is a phenomenal property. You heard me give a little dig on Shadowrun earlier. That's just because Jason Hardy and I are a little bit competitive. So, you know, this is my...
A little bit?
I absolutely love Shadowrun. It's awesome.
They're all good.
And Dragonfire. I mean, we've got a whole lot of Dragonfire going on.
Oh my gosh.
With both dragons and fire.
Dragonfire is booming.
Yep.
If you haven't played Dragonfire, you might want to do it before it's gone.
It is a fantastic gaming experience. And here at this show, we brought in 3 different products that actually won't release until likely August. So it was good to bring in items that, you know, what's coming, and the response from the players and the fans has been enormous. This really does feel like adventuring in Dungeons and Dragons. It's a new way to do it, but it is absolutely, this is your favorite flavor of D&D, following right along with the epic storylines that are going down, orchestrating and coordinating with Wizards of the Coast. Their team has been incredibly open and honest with us back and forth on the gameplay of what's to come, how we can coordinate our events so that we are reinforcing the overall epic storyline. And upcoming there, you're going to see Waterdeep. Waterdeep is going to be a fantastic experience for Dragonfire.
If you guys want to learn more about Waterdeep, check out the interview with Lauren. He talks.
Does he?
Yeah, he talks.
Were secrets revealed?
A couple.
Aye, nice.
A couple. Like, I'm not saying it.
Okay.
They won't watch it if I say it. And plus, I might be getting confused with what's coming out later this year.
It's possible.
And I don't want to say it's in Waterdeep and disappoint you.
Everything's in Waterdeep.
That is true in the Dungeons and Dragons
Waterdeep.
world.
That's actually one of the coolest parts about the Waterdeep, because obviously all of the art direction and stuff is still handled by me. So when it comes through for all of the new art specs, usually I'm like, okay, everyone's in Calamshan, and here's what everyone wears in Calamshan, and everyone's in this, and here's what everyone wears. But we got to Waterdeep, they're like, yeah, that's a mixed match of everything. It needs to look like just this melting pot of crazy, and it was awesome. And of course, you have to be true to all of those elements within the D&D universe. But oh man, it was so cool. It was really fun to get to play with character types that don't normally mix, because in Waterdeep, you would absolutely have crazy things that don't normally mix.
This is true. And their new promo cards are really cool.
They are cool.
I didn't realize they were all Rangers. Somebody told me they were all Rangers.
They're not all Rangers.
Somebody lied. I know there's...
It could be me.
There's 2...
They might all be Rangers.
Oh, there's 2 lizard folk. And 2 elves. 1 male, 1 female, 1 male, 1 female.
I've really enjoyed, as we continue to run the expansions for the adventures, and the new expansions. Between both of them, we are introducing new character classes and new races to continue to build out. D&D had Volo's Guide, which allowed you to play as the player with races that you wouldn't normally have been able to do. And so being able to use those, also reflect them in Dragonfire so that people can play kobolds.
Yeah, he did. There are some new races in Waterdeep.
Yeah.
And he names a few, like I think Goblin's one of them. Kobold, he said. There's just a couple other, but the big one's about monsters. There's a lot of cool tidbits. Some of the stuff he just kind of hints to, but he hints to very bluntly. So it's you'll like it. Go watch it.
Yeah, we've got Tabaxi,
Before I ruin it.
SMRs, we got a lot of great ones.
Yeah, there's a lot of good coming up. But anyway, we got off track.
Back to Battletech.
Back to Battletech.
Yes.
So at Gen Con, we're going to meet in an Atlas.
That would be so cool.
It would be so.
Do you have a green screen? We could come up with creative stuff if there's a green screen.
I do have a green screen.
Awesome.
It's like 20 feet long. But we could do some stuff.
We will be discussing diabolical schemes.
I mean, yeah, and
Speaking of schemes, can I just throw out a big prop? Those of us this year in the Battletech community have been really enjoying the new Hairbrain Schemes game, Battletech. The fact that they were able to pull off all that wonderful universe flavor of what's it like to be a mercenary unit out in the periphery, deciding which contracts to take, managing your resources, waiting for your employer to double-cross you or not, saying, oh yeah, we want you to go inspect this, and run right into 2 lances of heavy mechs. There's just so many awesome, amazing things. That game and campaign is fantastic. The team is excellent, and the amount of support that they're now giving on the back end to continue running and expanding that, I'm just so excited to see it. For those of you going to Gen Con, you get a chance to see the Hairbrain Schemes team. They're phenomenal.
Oh, they're going to be there?
Oh, they're always there. Yeah, these guys are diehard fans. I don't think you can keep them away with chains.
How can you keep Jordan out of it?
Well, not just Jordan. I mean, the team is top to bottom.
The
great team at Hairbrain Schemes.
Yeah, so
well in hand there.
I'm sure Jordan has some influence there.
A little bit. Yeah.
Maybe a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, anything else you want to add?
That's it. I think we're good. Can't wait to see you folks at Gen Con and or in box form in your local stores. And just know that we absolutely love the game as much as you do, and we're going to keep cranking out the amazing.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you next year. Well, hopefully you subscribe, share, and see me more often than next year.
And they can see us at Gen Con in just a few weeks, right?
Most likely.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going yet, but most likely.
All right.
I have a hotel room. But anyway, that's all. That's all I have to give.
I believe you.
Bye.
Bye.